The blue wall of predators. How police sexual abuse thrives in America. For decades, law enforcement agencies across the United States have cultivated a culture of impunity, allowing officers to abuse their power and prey on vulnerable individuals with shocking frequency. While public scrutiny often fixates on police brutality and racial profiling, an equally harrowing, yet underreported epidemic has been festering within the ranks: police-perpetrated sexual assault and child abuse. A systemic crisis. Recent investigations have laid bare the grotesque scope of sexual violence committed by police officers. According to the National Women's Law Center, sexual assault by law enforcement is not the act of a few rogue individuals, but a widespread, systemic issue that demands urgent reform. Officers have repeatedly leveraged their authority to coerce, assault, and rape individuals who, due to power dynamics, often feel helpless to resist or report the abuse. The numbers paint a damning picture. A joint investigation by the Washington Post and the National Criminal Justice Association found that since 2017, at least 1,800 law enforcement officers have been charged with child sexual abuse, a number that likely represents only a fraction of the real total. Even more alarming, a recent Reason report found that 40% of police officers convicted of child sex crimes receive no prison time, a shocking contrast to the sentences handed down to civilians for similar offenses. Predators in uniform sexual violence within police departments extends beyond isolated incidents. A CNN investigation revealed that law enforcement officers are arrested for sex crimes at an average rate of nearly 3 per week. And these are only the cases that manage to break through the institutional barriers shielding offenders. The Maryland-based Police Integrity Research Group has tracked thousands of reports of sexual misconduct by officers, highlighting that victims often include minors, detainees, and even colleagues. One of the most horrifying cases was that of former British officer Wayne Couzens, who abducted, raped, and murdered Sarah Everard in 2021, a crime that ignited global outrage. But in the US, such stories rarely generate sustained media attention. In one particularly egregious case, an Oklahoma City officer was sentenced to 263 years in prison for using his badge to prey on black women during traffic stops. But he is the exception, not the rule. Most officers who commit sexual crimes evade accountability altogether. The thin blue line of silence. Why does this crisis persist? The answer lies in law enforcement's deeply entrenched culture of silence and self-preservation. Victims of police sexual violence face overwhelming obstacles in seeking justice, including intimidation, retaliation, and disbelief from both the public and legal system. Officers who report their colleagues risk career-ending backlash, while those who dare to accuse law enforcement often find themselves discredited or even criminalized. Moreover, police unions and internal disciplinary boards routinely shield offenders from consequences. Many accused officers are allowed to quietly resign or transfer departments, continuing their abuse elsewhere, an institutional cover-up eerily reminiscent of the Catholic Church's handling of predator priests. A call to action. This is not just a case of a few bad apples. This is a crisis embedded within the very structure of American policing. Reform is not enough. Systemic change is required. Immediate steps must include independent oversight bodies, the abolition of qualified immunity, and stronger federal legislation ensuring officers who commit sexual crimes face real consequences. Until law enforcement agencies are stripped of their ability to police themselves, the badge will continue to serve as a license for unchecked abuse. The public must demand accountability before another victim's life is destroyed by those sworn to protect them.